flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign in peace and battle on.
You have made lasting impact on everyone that has come or blessed to come across you in many areas. Many have called you different names. Only yesterday, we learned of one. An iconic legend. So, it's only a legend, it's only iconic, but it's an iconic legend. An enigma. These are market communication in Nigeria and Africa, they say now. The first real disruptor of an industry in our country. As you get to know tonight, as you always know, the first disruptor of an industry, a man of excellence, a man of style, a developer of men, a leader of men. Many of us, too numerous to count, stand on his very strong shoulders and makes it easy for us to break doors and break barriers. Seldom does that happen in the private sector in our country. The army of committed mentees that he has made is legendary. The man who they say his word is his bond, the man that is what he says is what you get, very direct. He says and means what he says. Every one of us that passed through him but I've been blessed to work with him or for him. What happened for you that if we truly set ourselves, it's very easy to break doors. Why? Because there's something that Nigeria comes to believe with that name, Biodun Shobanjo. Tonight, we have come to honor not just the years that have gone by, but the legacy that has been built, a legacy of consistent excellence. The passion that will continue to inspire generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Festival of Creativity. As you join us this evening in celebrating our guest of honor, my chairman, Dr. Biodun Shobanjo, Officer of the Order of the Niger, and his amiable wife, Auntie Joyce, we call her, Mrs. Joyce Shobanjo. And I must be kind to also appreciate and thank the CDS for making out time with his beautiful wife, Mr. Ogogo, to be here with his colleagues. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you, sir, for making out to be here and join us tonight, and all our clients and friends and our colleagues. Tonight, welcome to the Festival of Creativity. Enjoy.
Next year, next 3 years, and possibly next 5 years.
I think it's about connecting insights of today to the insights of the past. When you think about it, Insight has been successful primarily because it's been driven by the vision of one man. That man has laid the vision down clearly. It's about excellence. It's about building people. It's about doing amazing work for our clients. And the truth is, we could build new visions or think about new ways of doing these things. It's never going to be as good as what has already been laid down. So for us, it's not about building new things, it's about going back to what started the group, how the group started, and the vision that Dr. Shobanjo always had for moving us forward. Now we have to interpret that vision in new ways in the 21st century. And that's the job that's left for all of us, to ensure that we stay rooted on the past, but we're also keeping one eye on the future. So that by the time we're done, we're literally just doing the vision that Dr. Shobanjo had laid behind and moving it forward in many ways.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tayo. Final question today. This is not an advertising question. Chairman is considered the father to many. Did he ever feel like were there times when he needed his attention for something and he had to be at a pitch, he had to be in Spain shooting a commercial or something? Tell us about Chairman, the father.
Let me ask my wife and children that same question. Because even in the midst of all these festivities, I know there was another event that was thrown by the Bells of Troika. I had to miss it because of something work related. So it's, you can't shy away from the work. Because at the end of the day, what he has achieved has helped us to where we are, from mentorship to even being able to have the best education and have the best opportunities. Opportunities not just being, what we do, but the doors he has opened, the people we have met. I don't think that would have come, if he did not do what he did. So I will not look at it as, him not being there or anything like that. I look at it as, I stand here today and I look at it from a very thankful point of view, very grateful and thankful point of view.
So much indeed. And Dr. T?
So, Chairman is the father of many. And today, and Femi, and the rest of the kids are just one of many. Sorry, we've already taken your father from you. Apologies in advance. But if you look across the room, you look at the great advertising minds of our age. So you've got people like Steve Mabeko there, you've got Larry Adisa there, you've got Bola Biyobusaga, you've got Sam, you've got a bunch of really, really wonderful people that have gone on to build amazing advertising agencies. All these people at one time or the other went through either Insight or MC&A or Leo Bonnet or one of our companies. This is what I tell people. You won't find anybody that is leading an amazing business in advertising today that has not gone through Dr. Biodun Shobanjo. Ladies and gentlemen, that deserves a round of applause. You won't find.
That I'm sitting here because, of course, you know that the period 70s and 80s, I wasn't at Insight. But I've been asked to moderate this session. And of course, who better could speak about Insight in the 70s and the 80s, if not for first Mr. Washington, who we all know as the Alex, and of course Mr. Fumi Onobulu, our very first general manager. I think we should start with Mr. Washington, because I believe you were there right from the beginning. From the very beginning, and even people like me who came in 1990 as Insight was turning the first decade of its existence. A lot of us want to know even now how things were in those early years.
Thank you very much for the discussion. Good evening, Dr. Shobanjo. Good evening, everybody. The 70s were actually the roaring period in Nigeria's economic life. At that point, it might interest most people to know that the transition decree had just been passed, and the torch literally was being passed on to Nigerians. And if you're Nigerian, well, in the advertising industry, as Dr. Shobanjo said in that piece, most of the agencies were owned by the top agencies were owned by foreign companies. But then by 1976, Nigerians were being moved into the executive floor. And most of these Nigerians were relatively junior officers. At the time, they were moved to become managing directors and deputy managing directors. I met Dr. Shobanjo, then Mr. Shobanjo, as the deputy managing director at Grant. But one thing was clear. From the minute I got into, actually, before I got into Grant, I met him. And one thing that I knew was that here was a man that was not only restless, but restless with a purpose. He just didn't seem to like the way things were going, even though he was very comfortable at the time. I mean, I must say that if you think about it today, it would take a madman to actually take the risk he took. He was deputy managing director, he was just a little over 30. He was living in a whole house in Surulere, which then was like the Ikoyi of Lagos. He drove 3 cars. He had 3 cars. He had the driver, he had everything. And he was also very well celebrated in the industry. So there was no reason for him to do what he did. And I must say, he really didn't have to do it. But when I joined Grant, he employed me. And when I joined in 1978, I noticed that his group was particularly different. His approach to client management was different. In those days, now we talk about brand advertising strategy. Now we talk about office strategy. And there's a process to the whole thing. Then there wasn't any process. It was the client's brief, and the brief was always written, no format. Client says they want so. Why? Well, that's what the client says. And had a very interesting setup. Most advertising agencies in Nigeria then, most agencies would have 1 writer, at best 2 writers, and then you had what was called the studio. And the studio then was peopled by artists, mainly, the white art directors. They didn't have the principle of art directing. It was all, they had a good sense of design, but definitely the white communicators. And at class meetings, you know, I noticed that Dr. Shobanjo was always very uncomfortable. You know, most times in trying to get his views on the lofty picture he saw across. And because I was in his group and I was also relatively close to him, you know, he would always say things like, well, what do you think? Initially, I mean, you know, I didn't have anything to lose. I was a young guy. If I was sad, well, I was sad. But I would always give him my views. And I found out that instead of being difficult, you know, or a bit coy, he actually was very welcoming of those ideas. And he would say, yes, I mean, I think I agree with you. I don't think we're doing it right. I don't think, I think, I don't think, I think. And that was the way it was until, you know, things started snowballing. And by 1979, it was clear that he was at a crossroad. And he had literally become a skyline pigeon. And he needed to fly. You know, I mean, I don't know if you remember Elton John's skyline pigeon. I mean, for him, it was not even simply a case of wanting to go do something. It was simply a case of this whole order must go. And that was what most people do not recognize. I mean, in the early days, they didn't even recognize. The feeling was that he wanted to go out to make money. He didn't need to. He was really very well paid and very, very comfortable. Anyone who knew him then knew he was very comfortable. You had to see his photographs. I mean, he had always been comfortable. Ever since I met him, he's always been comfortable. You know. And for him to have taken that leap meant that he had something that he wanted to do. And that he did, starting with the naming of the company. Not a lot of people know that Insight Communications Insight started being called Insight Communications. And the whole concept of Insight was all about going behind to understand the consumer. So today we all talk about consumer insights. And we also talk about how the consumer insight would affect the communication. Way back in the 70s, that wasn't the issue. Dr. Shobanjo saw it. And maybe the way to end would be to say this, that you know, the other day I was in my office and I thought, hang on, Insight is actually the oldest agency in Nigeria. And also, that by being the oldest agency in Nigeria, it meant all the agencies before Insight were no more. So if you really understand the issue of civilizations and how civilizations are taken over by other civilizations, what it meant was that Dr. Shobanjo killed the order before him and installed a new order. And that's why Insight is still the oldest. You know, I mean, so technically, I mean, I don't want to be seen blaspheming, but you know, he basically came in and said, well, all of this apart, and now everything that we do now is a consequence of the processes that Shobanjo put in place. For example, you guys came in, and you will remember that. We didn't, I mean, no advertising agency in Nigeria, and I make bold to say, even then when we had the foreign companies, none had, there was only called an account management manual. Dr. Shobanjo forced a 3-year-old manager to create an account management manual for Insight. That manual is what just about every agency in Nigeria uses today.